Welcome back to another episode of TEC Tube. Today we're going to be working with the Bryant or Carrier Wi-Fi thermostat. We have a separate video we've already done on how to install and commission that stat. This particular video is going to show how to set up the Wi-Fi and the consumer app. All right, a quick little navigation. There's only 4 buttons on this thermostat. There's the up and down arrow, which are pretty self-explanatory. Those will obviously change the set point that you're trying to control to. There's a mode button on the left-hand side over here. Right now it says off. If I toggle that, it goes to auto, which means it can run heating and cooling. If I toggle it again, it gives me the little cooling snowflake. Again, gives me the little red sunshine for heating, and then back to the off mode. The last button on the right here is the fan button. There's 3 scenarios there. There's auto, which means the fan turns on during a heating or cooling call. There is the circ button, which means the fan runs 33% of each hour. So it runs 20 minutes out of every hour. And if there's any runtime that's associated with heating and cooling, that counts towards the 20 minutes. So for example, if you had 18 minutes of heating this hour and you have this button on, you're supposed to get 20, it knows that it owes you 2 more minutes of running the fan. So it'll run the fan for 2 minutes extra. And then the last one, if you toggle it, is to on, where it just runs straight on, fan continuous all the time. All right, let's dive into the thermostat over here. All right, we have my app open here. I have other thermostats from the same lab already on the app that are Evolution, Infinity type stats. So I'm not going to create a new account. If I was a brand new user or brand new homeowner to this app, I would set up an account. It'd ask you for login, password that you want to use, etc., etc. But I already have it. So in my case, I'm going to hit the 3 little arrows on the top there and click Add Device. I'm going to add a smart stat in this case. Keep my phone relatively close to the stat. I'm going to press Continue. It's going to ask me to scan the QR code off the back of the stat, which I'm going to do. Put the stat on the wall so it repowers back up. So it'll take a few moments. And it gives me a little status bar, 55, 66%, etc. It's going to ask me for the Wi-Fi network that I want to put it on. So it's going to find Wi-Fi networks in the area. I'm going to choose one. I'm going to put a password in. Press Continue. It says connecting. This will take a few moments. So right now the app has been talking to the stat via Bluetooth. In this case, it's going to connect it onto the Wi-Fi. All right, now I'm connected to this thermostat here. Down at the very bottom, I can turn some stuff on just to make sure things are working. So for example, if I click fan options and press on, I'll hear the fan on the furnace kick on, which it just did. Put it back to auto for right now so we don't have to hear it. All right, up at the top here, I have that little gear icon. And from there, if I click it, I can do some stuff like I can name my thermostat. I can call it whatever I want. For now, I'll just make it whatever, lab unit, just so I have something different on the screen. I can choose my dealer on here, click change dealer. I can search for dealer by zip code. See if I can pick one that works for this discussion. Show dealers in that area. This one's me right here, Bryant test dealer. It's a fake dealer. TEC Tube test dealer is also me. I'll pick that one since it's a fake dealer I have set up for demo purposes. So now that dealer will be notified. I can pick what kind of alarms that they will receive. Will they get an alarm if my stat loses Wi-Fi or power connection for a whole day? I want them to see my status information. I want them to be able to view my schedules and configuration setup and or modify stuff for me. So you can pick which things you want them to have access to, if anything. I can also change my Wi-Fi network, which I don't need to do because I just picked one a minute ago. I can look at my operating status. Right now, the outdoor unit is idle, meaning it's not running. I have no accessories on. My fan is in the auto mode of the furnace, etc. Notification preferences. This is for me, the homeowner, versus the dealer. I can get my alerts if I lose communication. I can also set up some like filter timers and stuff like that if I want to use those. Light control, the backlighting of the screen. I can turn off the perimeter lighting, which is where you saw it glowing purple or blue at various points in time, green, orange. I can also change the screen brightness on here. Temperature unit, Fahrenheit versus Celsius, then my serial, model number, etc. And at the very bottom, I could uninstall this device from my from my app if I wanted to. I'm gonna hit the back button in this case. Some different stuff I have here as a homeowner. I have options, so I can turn on the perimeter lighting or turn it off from there as well. I can lock the display so nobody can access it without the app. I can turn on the dry mode. I can overcool the dehumidifier by up to 3 degrees, which you recall I set up on the other video. I want a 54% set point, and I want to overcool by up to 3 degrees if needed. All right, so now it'll do that. So it means if there's no cooling call, temperature satisfied for cooling, it will run the cooling to dehumidify the space, in my case, to 54% relative humidity, but no more than 3 degrees colder than the cooling set point. I can turn the system on and off, auto, cool, heat, off, right? That kind of thing. I'll leave it on heat for right now. Actually, I'll leave it on auto so you see more stuff. So I have 2 set points in this case. Their set points are 73 and 70. I can scroll them around and change them to something else if I want to. You can see that updates on there. Or I can use the arrows if I want to do it that way, if I want to change them as a group. All right, fan options. My choices I showed you earlier, on or circulate. Circulates where it runs for 20 minutes out of each hour. And I can also go in and set up schedules if I'd like to do that. So I can come on here and say I want to run it on a certain times of day. I also have comfort profiles on here, so I can choose to use these. I have home, away, wake, and sleep to work with. So for example, the home profile, maybe I want to cool it to 73 when I'm there and heat it to, say, 70 when I'm there. Set my comfort profile, right? So now it shows that. When I'm away, when I'm not there, maybe I only want to cool it down to 80, save some energy. And then I want to heat it maybe to, say, 65. All right, and I can also use the wake and sleep ones if I want to use those, if I want more than 2 periods. So now on Sunday and Monday and so forth, I can add those schedules. So let's say Sunday, actually Monday's more logical for me to start with. So add a schedule for Monday. Say I want my schedule to begin at 5 a.m., 5:15 a.m., right? And I want to apply this to the home schedule, right? And I can click save, right? I have that listed on there when I wanted that to go to that mode. I can now add an away schedule. Maybe I leave the building at 6:15 and I want an away schedule. Save that. And then finally, maybe I come back home at 6:30 p.m. Save that. So now for Monday, I wake up at 5:15, I leave at 6:15, I get home at 6:30, not 6:30 a.m. That was a mistake. Right? And now I got Monday the way I want. I could say copy Monday, and I'll just do it to all the other days. And now they're all the same. Now I'll push it to every day, so every day is identical. Now you can see my schedules are populated on the other one. So Sunday, I can go in and change it. If like, oh, I don't get up at that time on Sunday, I can make it something else. Save it. And Sunday will be slightly different than the other days now. All right. You can override the set point just by pulling the bars around. I'm in the heating mode right now, so I can override the heating set point to something else. Same thing with cooling and so forth. So hopefully that gives you an idea how to set this up on Wi-Fi and some basic navigation for your end user.